So the silver rally hasn't even begun. It essentially was just some romantic foreplay. In 1994, financier Sir James Goldsmith sat across the American interviewer Charlie Rose, warning that a new creed, global free trade under GATT, would recover the world of work. He spoke of Western workers, told that they were too expensive, replaced by distant labor paid a fraction of the wages. At the same time, India long etched the Western memory through images of Mother Teresa tending the poorest of the poor in Calcutta, was quietly transforming economic liberalization. In 1991, opened the doors for trade, technology, and outsourced services. From call centers to software hubs in Bangalore and Hyderabad, a vast new middle class began to emerge from generational poverty. Staffed in glass towers, answering phones, and processing data for companies thousands of miles away, Goldsmith's warning and India's rise became two sides of the same historical coin. Jobs drained from deindustrializing West, opportunity swollen in a once impoverished subcontinent. Before examining the silver numbers, I want to readers to understand that the metrics and multipliers that will be incorporated in this table below. India was has at least 4 to 6 major annual occasions where silver is widely given as a customary gift, plus weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, and life cycle rituals that run year-round. Key silver gifters festivals: Diwali and Dhatra's, massive tradition of buying and getting silver coins, bars, idols, and jewelry. Ashaya Tritiya, strong custom to buy gold and silver for prosperity. Raksha Bandhan, sisters frequently receive or gift silver jewelry or coins. Other regional New Year festivals, Gudai Padwa, Ugadi, and Navratri often features silver gifting purchases. Practice varies by region and class, plus birthdays, weddings, and anniversaries. We will revisit these holidays later in this article. Over the span of just a few decades, India has quietly engineered one of the greatest middle-class booms in human history. What began as a trickle of outsourced data entry call center work and back office processing from the United States and Europe in the 1980s has swelled into a vast service ecosystem employing millions. The country's information technology and business processing outsourcing machine now supports on the order of 10 to 15 million direct jobs, and perhaps 25 to 35 when counting the drivers, shopkeepers, landlords, caterers, and countless others that rely on those salaries circulating through the economy. The scale of the social transformation is even more staggering when the job numbers in the early 90s. India's middle class was often estimated at roughly 30 million people. A silver of the population clustered in few cities and government corridors after economic liberalization and the rise of IT and outsourcing. The silver expanded into continent-sized consumer base. By the mid-2000s, various studies placed India's middle class somewhere between 300 and 600 million people, with some projections pointing to 800 million by 2030. Behind the abstractions who lived realities, families moving from once one-room tenements into apartments with elevators and gated entrances, first-generation college graduates answering calls for Western banks from glass towers in Gurgaon and Hyderabad, parents who grew up with reliable electricity now debating which smartphone to buy for their children. The service export boom did more merely create new job titles. It wired aspirations, expectation, and various definition of what a normal life could look like in India. Yes, the story is uneven. Entire regions remain trapped in agrarian distress. Millions still work in the informal sector, untouched by global contracts and software code, but it is hard to overstate how extraordinary it has been to watch a country move from tens of millions of hundreds of millions of middle-class citizens within a single working lifetime. The same forces that hollowed out call centers and clerical works in the West have underwritten a vast middle class in India, turning a once improbable development narrative into an everyday reality for hundreds of millions of people. Large-scale offshoring of data entry and the back office work of India from the US and Europe has created on the order of 10 to 15 million direct jobs since the 1980s, and perhaps 25 to 35 million, including indirect employment, BPO and IT PBM job volume. Okay, so let's see. So now when you look at the silver, and this is all according, so with the middle class expansion, India's middle class has about 30 million people in the early 90s and grew to hundreds of millions of liberalization. So estimates suggest 3 to 600 million and around 800 million by 2030. America-sized boom when outsourcing built another US and India's offshore data centers, call centers. So this is all happening. So the US middle class has shrunk more than 61% of adults in 1971 to roughly 51 to 52% to 175 to 180 million people, or roughly 340 million residents. By contrast, India is projected to be around 800 million people. So this is why I tell you this. So the USA has about to put up your house as in the US you have to put up your house as collateral. In India, via the new banking rules that go into the effect of April 2026, they just have to activate this more silver than the entire solar industry, the entire EV battery industry, and electronics, military, and aerospace combined. This is what I was telling you guys in my videos about April 2026, when these new banking rules go into effect. So don't believe us. Many don't at first, but once you hear about Andy Schexman saying that the exact same thing next week, it becomes gospel. Keep reading. Okay, listen, guys. Walk into the U.S. bank with 100 ounces of silver and ask for a loan, and the manager will gently explain, "Sir, we only centralize your house, your car, and your future. Shiny metal is for suckers and preppers." What the banker won't say is that our system happily lets you gamble the roof over your head, but heaven forbid you arrive with a real asset, collateral. Do the math. 20 billion ounces of silver, too big a number just to adjust a multiplier. Now flip India. Suppose a mere 400 million middle class decide to activate their silver under new collateral-friendly banking rules. Assume each pledges just 50 ounces, barely a couple of Diwali coin sets and Roshaka Bandhan upgrade, and some doomsday bunker stack. This is a 20 billion ounces of silver demand potential. In this country, where gifting coins and idols is such already seasonal national sport, one regulatory green light and the entire parallel banking system suddenly has reason to hover up more silver than the West even pronounce Ashaka Turaya. Say the number isn't 50 ounces, but half of that. That's 10 billion ounces of silver. Say the number isn't only 10 ounces, but 1 silver per loan. That's 4 billion ounces of silver. Recall that silver consumed around 200 million ounces. 4 billion is 20 times larger than that 200 million. So it's unreal. Explaining the graphic above, total annual silver demand from there. 400 million people, middle class cohort would be an order of 3.3 billion ounces per year. This is the giving side of India's silver demand, not the banking side of silver demand, which has calculated the holidays into India's charts. Now is the chart, it's not making sense. So imports of the silver have skyrocketed literally off the chart, the most since 2002. Now the silver bull run hasn't even started yet. Why? Normalies out of this still haven't been told that the USA is in a recession, going into a depression. Normalies still need to read that the news about the USA bank west down, or that a USA bank would seize a journalist's bank account for speaking out against the U.S. military-industrial complex. So, this is kind of what's going on, guys. Normie still hasn't understand that their wages and retirements are being devoured by currency debasement, which is citizens. We are already know what some of you are going to say, but by the World Silver Survey doesn't show all the demand from India, which they say like the underground is going to admit to have silver. Our options are not our sponsors. So anyways, this is why the silver rally has not started yet, and this is not even financial advice. So let me know what y'all think. Please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, keep stacking, stay safe, keep watching. God bless.